Welcome, deep divers, to a fascinating journey that's probably going to completely reshape what you think you know about baseball. For so many of us, the game feels like, quintessential Americana, right? It
Yeah.
seems woven into our fabric, like 4th of July fireworks or apple pie. But what if I told you the true story of baseball is far more surprising, winding, and, well, global than most fans ever imagine?
It really is. It's a history that challenges assumptions right from like the very first pitch. It makes you wonder how something so seemingly American could have such unexpected origins.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're embarking on this incredible deep dive through the rich, often contested, and always evolving history of baseball. We'll look at its surprisingly ancient and, global origins,
hmm
trace its path to professionalization.
Highlight those iconic figures and pivotal rule changes that completely reshaped the game.
Right, and then explore its global expansion and the sort of dynamic forces at play in its modern era.
And to do this, we've really dug into a stack of insightful articles, historical blogs, lots of detailed research. We've tried to distill the most important nuggets, these surprising facts for you.
Yeah, our mission today is to unpack those key moments, the unexpected bits, and the deeper why behind baseball's constant evolution. We want to give you a comprehensive but still really engaging understanding that goes way beyond, a typical sports report. So, okay, let's dive in. Let's unpack this. When I first started digging into the origins for this, I was, well, pretty convinced it was purely an American invention.
A lot of people are.
But then you see the evidence, and the truth is, its earliest roots are distinctly European. We're talking old British folk games.
Yeah, predating America entirely. It's one of the biggest surprises, I think. The debate about baseball's true origins, it points directly back to these early bat and ball games in Britain, Ireland, even France and Germany.
Right?
Often just informal games, sometimes kids play, no standard rules, but you can clearly see the seeds of modern baseball there.
I found myself going down this rabbit hole with games like stool ball, mentioned as early as 1330.
Wow, that early.
Yeah. Imagine people throwing a ball at a target, a player defending it, first with a bare hand, later a bat, and then there's cricket, obviously. An 18th century English game.
Mm-hmm.
It shared core concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Bowler, batsman, wickets, innings, outs, runs. You hear those terms and you realize how much DNA baseball shares.
The parallels are striking, definitely, but maybe even more direct influence came from Rounders, another British game. It was so incredibly similar that in a 1744 children's book, a little pretty pocketbook,
Yeah.
it was actually called Baseball.
Who kidding? 1744.
Yep. Centuries before Abner Doubleday, who, let's be clear, has been pretty thoroughly debunked as the sole inventor.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. Comparing those early games to today, some wild differences.
Oh, yeah.
In some versions, teams pitched to themselves,
Huh.
and runners went the opposite way around the bases.
Clockwise.
Counterclockwise. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Today is counterclockwise. They went clockwise. Okay, gotcha. And players could be put out by literally hitting them with the ball. They called it soaking or plugging.
Right. Imagine trying that today. Huge liability.
Totally.
And crucially, most early games had no foul territory. Hit the ball anywhere, it was in play.
Shows how unstructured it was, right? Not built for a specific field.
Exactly. Very regional, very adaptable to wherever you were playing.
And this wasn't just a British thing either. German books from 1796, French books from 1810 describing similar games.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jane Austen. In Northanger Abbey, late 1790s, she mentions baseball,
So it was just kind of
Yeah.
out there, a common folk game.
waiting for someone to formalize it.
And that codification, that's where the American story really kicks in. While those European roots are clear, the actual American genesis, what we recognize as baseball, starts with organized clubs and, crucially, written rules.
Right. We see early mentions, like a baseball challenge in Delhi, New York, 1825, an organized club in Rochester, same year.
Mhm.
But the real game changer, everyone points to the Knickerbocker Rules, 1845. Now, here's a key point I found fascinating. Modern historians, people like John Thorne, David Block, they really push back on the idea these rules were entirely revolutionary,
That's a really important distinction. Many rules had precedence,
like foul territory, often credited to the Knickerbockers.
but it was already a feature in 18th century trap ball in Britain, maybe even cricket elements, and mentioned in a Canadian baseball game in 1838. So the idea was around.
Okay. And what about getting rid of soaking, hitting the runner, and bringing in tag-outs and force-outs?
Thorne calls that a key distinction. Block says single greatest contribution, big deal.
But even that, according to an old account by William Wheaton from 1887, suggests his Gotham club did it maybe as early as 1837.
So the Knickerbockers might have solidified it, popularized it, but maybe didn't invent it from scratch.
It seems like it.
Same with the three-out inning, a big break from the old one-out, all-out style.
Where everyone batted until one out.
Right. But the idea of a fixed batting order, that was common in older games like rounders. So if you're looking for something truly original, the Knickerbockers came up with maybe the balk rule.
Yeah, that's cited as possibly the only one.
And John Thorne had that interesting theory about it.
Oh, yeah, that it wasn't just about keeping the ball out of the river nearby.
Right, but maybe it was to emphasize fielding as the hallmark of their New York game, kind of a strategic choice.
Really makes you think differently about early rules.
Absolutely. But regardless of what was truly new versus brilliantly codified, the impact was huge. The New York game just took off. Its rules were seen as superior to older forms like town ball.
Which often had inconsistent rules, right?
Exactly. So this led to that crucial 1857 convention. Standardized rules the National Association of Baseball Players formed. 9 innings, 90-foot bases, 9-man teams. That was the blueprint.
Okay, so we've got the foundations, the rules are standardizing. But how does this amateur pastime become the pro game, the global thing we know?
That really ramps up after the Civil War. Soldiers going home, they took the New York rules with them.
Spreading baseball fever.
You got it. Turned it from regional to national. Big growth, but still mostly informal. Amateur clubs getting more serious.
And then the catalyst for real Pro Bowl, the Cincinnati Red Stockings, 1869.
The first openly all-professional team.
And they were dominant, right?
Yeah.
Toured the country, undefeated for ages.
Yeah, until June 1870. Their success really forced the tension between amateur ideals and paid players.
Couldn't ignore it anymore.
Exactly. And this tension led to a split. 1871, the National Association of Professional Baseball Players, the NA, was formed. Very player-focused. Players could jump teams for more money.
Which sounds good for players, but maybe not for stability.
Bingo. Lots of instability. Chaos.
What?
Which led directly to the National League, the NL, in 1876.
And the NL was about team stability. Player contracts, full schedules.
Basically, owners taking control back from players. And it worked, mostly.
That first NL game, April 22, 1876, often called the start of MLB proper.
Though they had competition early on, the American Association was a big rival.
And popular because they sold beer at games.
That was a major draw, yeah. Made it a different fan experience.
Okay, so the game's professionalizing, leagues are forming. Now we get into distinct eras, right? Shaped by rules, players, culture.
Exactly. First up, the dead ball era, roughly 1901 to 1919.
Now, dead ball, it's a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Not just the ball.
Right. It's complex, partly rule changes favoring pitchers, partly much better fielding.
Like removing pitcher delivery restrictions, letting them do more.
Yeah, and crucially, foul balls counting as strikes, brought in between 1901 and 03, that really tamped down offense.
But didn't you mention 1894 being super high scoring just before this era?
Ah, yes, the paradox of 1894, one of the highest scoring seasons ever in terms of earned runs. It was a direct result of moving the pitching distance back in 1893 from 55.5 feet to 60.5.
Oh, wow.
It caused a spectacular scoring explosion. Pitchers hadn't adjusted, absolutely crushed the older guys, shows how one rule change can flip the script.
So, okay, fast forward a bit. Offense is down again in the dead ball era proper.
Yeah.
How did managers adapt?
They had to get creative. Focus shifted to small ball.
Bunts, hit and runs, stealing bases.
Exactly. Willie Keeler's famous line, hit 'em where they ain't. That was the philosophy.
And you had teams like the 1906 White Sox, the hitless wonders.
Perfect example. Won the World Series with a terrible team batting average. All about pitching and defense.
So what pulls baseball out of that era? One name comes to mind.
It really does. Hard to overstate his impact. Babe Ruth.
The Sultan of SWAT. The Ruthian Revolution, early 1920s, kicks off the live ball era.
Yeah, Ruth, who started as an amazing pitcher,
Right.
becomes a full-time outfielder in 1919 and just changes everything. Unprecedented slugging.
The numbers are still wild. 29 homers in 19, then 54 in 20, 59 21.
Just blew the old records away. And he inspired others. Home run rates shot up across the league. Dead ball era over.
His impact wasn't just on the field, though, right? Salaries.
Oh, massively. Went from $600 as a rookie to $80,000 by 1930. Changed the economics for star players. And that famous line about earning more than President Hoover.
So what? I had a better year than he did. Classic Ruth.
He made baseball larger than life. A spectacle.
Truly a cultural icon.
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium, 1923, the house that Ruth built.
Yeah.
And the legendary called shot
Yeah,
in the 32 World Series. Doesn't even matter if it's true. It's part of the legend.
absolutely. And his Yankees dynasty, people might hate the Yankees, but they arguably saved baseball during the Great Depression, gave people something exciting to follow.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so after Ruth, the next massive shift wasn't just about hitting. It was about barriers.
Right. World War II obviously impacted MLB huge, over 500 players served, showed the game's resilience. But more profoundly, it set the stage for major social change.
Enter Jackie Robinson. Not just a ball player, a civil rights icon.
Branch Rickey, the Dodgers GM, signs him in '45 for the Montreal Royals with the plan to integrate the majors.
His debut, April 15th, 1947. Historic, but met with just immense pressure, hostility, racism.
Unbelievable hostility, especially from teams like the Phillies, the Cardinals. There were threats of strikes from other players.
It took incredible courage from Robinson.
Immense courage, and also, crucially, public support from key teammates. Eddie Stanky, Pee Wee Reese.
Reese putting his arm around him in Cincinnati.
Exactly. Those actions helped quell mutinies, protected Robinson. It mattered.
And his play spoke for itself. Rookie of the Year, MVP. Hit over .300 for 6 straight years.
Proved his talent beyond any doubt, under unimaginable pressure.
His legacy is just
Oh.
immense. The Rookie of the Year award named after him, number 42 retired league-wide,
He
unprecedented.
didn't just change baseball, he helped change America's understanding of equality.
Okay, so moving towards the modern era, the evolution doesn't stop. Technology, rivalries, even this idea of a golden ratio.
Yeah, the game keeps changing. Equipment evolution is a great example. Think about it. Bare hands and sticks in the 1800s to padded gloves becoming common by the 1870s made a huge difference.
Then safety gear batting helmets in the 40s, really widespread by the 70s. Aluminum bats in amateur ball.
Totally changed hitting. And now, the age of data. It's revolutionary. Sensors in bats, gloves, blast motion, ZEP, training tools like HitTrax, Rapsodo.
Giving real-time data.
Exactly, making players faster, stronger, more athletic. Even the baseballs are precision-made now for consistency. It's a different game physically.
And the rivalries keep shifting too, right? History, geography, schedule changes.
Absolutely. Interleague play, starting in '97, really mixed things up.
You still have the classics, of course. Dodgers, Giants, even after moving coasts. Cardinals, Cubs. Timeless.
But then you get these newer, really intense rivalries, often fueled by specific events, usually controversy.
Like Yankees, Astros.
Prime example, 4 postseason meetings recently, Astros won them all, but the intensity cranked way up after the sign-stealing
A
scandal.
lot of Yankee fans feel that cost them the 17 Bennett.
For sure. And Dodgers-Astros, same thing. That scandal hangs over it, especially since one of them has been in almost every World Series from 2017 to 2024. Real animosity there.
But not all new rivalries are bitter. There's that fun one, the Vetter Cup.
Yeah, Mariners and Padres. Named for Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. Shows how new traditions can start too.
Okay, so all this evolution brings us to this golden ratio idea. Explain that.
It's an intriguing concept. Research suggests there's an aesthetic ideal for championship teams, around a 61.8% winning percentage, like the mathematical golden ratio.
Huh. Why that number?
The hypothesis is that fans are most engaged and the game feels most balanced and compelling when offense and defense are relatively equal. And teams playing in that balanced environment tend to win championships at roughly that 61.8% clip.
And does history back that up?
Kind of, yeah. Championship teams' winning percentages were closest to that ratio during eras of perceived balance, like the integration era, 42-60, and the expansion era, 61-76.
Suggesting maybe more player diversity, new teams helped create that balance?
It's a compelling thought. Conversely, percentages deviated more during times of big disruption, like the free agency era, ending the reserve clause that tied players to teams.
Huge shift in power dynamics.
Right. Or the steroid and post-steroid eras, PEDs, power hitting surges. Those imbalances seem to push winning percentages away from that ideal. Maybe fans sense when things are too lopsided.
So the big question then is, will MLB keep tinkering with rules, equipment, economics maybe, to try and maintain that ideal balance, keep fans engaged?
It seems highly likely. Look at baseball's history. It's always adapted. Even something like the pitch clock recently. Lots of initial outcry, sacrilege.
Yeah, tradition.
But it was a response to a perceived problem, games getting too long. MLB showed it can recognize when change is needed, even if it ruffles feathers. That adaptability is key to why the game endures and keeps growing.
So let's recap. We've gone from surprising folk game roots in Europe to formalization in New York with rules maybe not quite as original as we thought,
Mm-hmm.
through defensive dominance in the dead ball era than the Ruthian power revolution,
Breaking social barriers with Jackie Robinson.
and constantly evolving with tech, rivalries, and this chase for competitive balance.
The big takeaway, I think, is that baseball isn't static. It's alive. Built on layers of surprising history, constant innovation, and this remarkable ability to change when it needs to. It really shows why it keeps its hold, even as it reinvents itself. Still feels like America's pastime, somehow.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. If baseball's history shows this consistent pattern of adapting, innovating, sometimes making drastic changes to keep the game captivating, what unforeseen innovations or cultural shifts might define this post-steroid era we're in now?
Mm,
And how might they further reshape the house that Ruth built, reshape the global game, as it keeps chasing that elusive golden ratio of competitive balance?
that's the question that keeps us watching, isn't it? Season after season, what comes next?